Jews who fled into Africa, the forgotten testimony of 1760. Welcome to TWLVNEWS, where truth meets history. Today, we open a book older than the United States itself, a work published in 1760, titled The Modern Part of an Universal History. Inside its yellowed pages is a testimony almost no one talks about. A testimony that states, plainly, clearly, that after the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD, multitudes of Jews fled into Africa, settling in Egypt, Abyssinia, and as far west as the Niger River. This is one of the oldest historical statements linking the Hebrew people to the interior of Africa. And today we're going to break it down. Section 1. The 1760 Witness. Jews in Egypt, Abyssinia, and along the Niger. Let's begin with the section highlighted in the text. There are some who call themselves originary Jews of the posterity of Abraham, who pretend to have formerly come in colonies, and to have settled themselves in Egypt, Abyssinia, and along the Niger. Universal History, Volume 14, 1760. This is not modern speculation. This is not 20th century revisionism. This is 1760, before colonialism, before Pan-Africanism, before modern identity movements. Historians recorded that Hebrew colonies existed deep inside Africa, not at the fringes, but in Egypt, Ethiopia, and West Africa. And the authors go further. These last are more numerous and considerable than the two former. Meaning, according to this 1760 source, the Hebrews along the Niger were more numerous than those in Egypt or Ethiopia. Let that sink in. The most significant Hebrew presence recorded by this historian was in West Africa. Section 2. The Refugees of 70 AD. The book continues. Those who came and are here still in the greatest number are such as refuged themselves after the destruction of Jerusalem and the dispersion of the Jewish nation by Titus Vespasian. This is a direct connection between the fall of Jerusalem in 70 AD, the refugee migration into Africa, the large Hebrew population found there in later centuries. This lines up with other sources. Josephus wrote that survivors of the Roman war fled south and west. Several medieval Muslim geographers mentioned Jewish populations in West Africa. Colonial-era writers found Jewish practices among tribes in Timbuktu, Ghana, Songhai, and the Niger Bend. This 1760 text is one of the earliest and clearest European confirmations. It says the Hebrews refuged themselves into Africa, not as colonizers, not as conquerors, but as fugitives fleeing Roman persecution, blending into African societies and thriving there for centuries. Section 3. Persecution under Rome, Persia, Saracens, and Christians. The book continues with brutal honesty. Or who fled from other persecutions under the Romans, Persians, Saracens, and since under the Christians. This tells us something important. The Hebrews didn't flee once, they fled repeatedly. And where did they flee? Africa. Over and over, from the earliest centuries until the medieval period, Africa was the nearest refuge. This is why the historian notes, there are multitudes of Jews in every variety of condition in the north of Africa. North Africa, East Africa, West Africa, down the Niger. The Hebrew footprint was enormous. Section 4. Why West Africa matters to the story of the lost tribes. If you're listening today, the big question is, why does West Africa matter? Because West Africa became the exact region targeted during the transatlantic slave trade. And long before ships ever arrived, multiple historical writers, including this 1760 volume, recognized Hebrews living in that region. Other works, from Dr. George Moore, Joseph J. Williams, and more, echoed the same message. Hebrew customs, Hebrew names, Hebrew law codes, Hebrew rituals, even Hebrew migration stories, preserved among tribes like the Akan, Yoruba, Songhai, Manding, Ghana, and others. This 1760 testimony fits perfectly into that larger historical landscape. Section 5. Pulling it all together. Let's summarize the key points of this forgotten testimony. Hebrews fled Jerusalem in 70 AD. They migrated directly into Africa. They settled in Egypt, Ethiopia, and the Niger region. The Niger region Hebrews were the most numerous. They continued arriving due to centuries of persecution. By the 1700s, multitudes of Jews were living across North and West Africa. This was recorded long before modern debates about identity. This source is 260+ years old. It stands as a historical witness, untouched by modern agendas, confirming that Africa was a major home of the Hebrew diaspora. Thank you for listening to TWLVNEWS, where truth meets history. If this message spoke to you, share and subscribe. There is more truth to uncover, and we're just getting started.